You need links to improve your website's ranking.
But Tim, link building is hard and all these sites I contact are asking for money.
Google says I shouldn't buy links, but all my competitors seem to be. What should I do?
Great question. Eloquently put. It's a question that comes up for almost every SEO at some point. Should you buy backlinks? Well, today we're going to step with both feet onto this SEO landmine and answer this very question together. I'm terrified. Let's do this. So we're going to examine some of the arguments for and against. We're going to look at Google's policies, and then I'm going to navigate you through the ethical conundrum to help you decide whether buying backlinks is a good idea for you or not, okay? Google's line on this is that paid links are bad, or at least paid links designed to influence ranking, which is basically what all links are for. And they say you might get demoted in ranking. If you know where to look, you can pay to get a link on virtually any website. And I'm not just talking about the spammy, low quality content, rubbish blogs and forum spam. I'm talking about some of the world's highest tier, most respected publications. And what's more, the prices that they charge indicate that this is a significant stream of revenue for them. We can assume that it is a fundamental part of their business model. So, is paid link building one of those hidden in plain sight things? If you're not doing it, are you the only fool who's trying to win the race clean when everyone else is playing dirty? Or if you do pay for links, are you immediately becoming a criminal and everyone else is playing it clean? It's no wonder that website owners and marketers are confused. Now let's start with Google's guidelines, because whilst Google isn't the police in that they don't set the laws, they do set the laws for what they consider to be acceptable in their search results and the methods that website owners can use to influence those search results. So Google's official guidelines say, link-based analysis is an extremely useful way of measuring a site's value and has greatly improved the quality of web search. Both the quantity and, more importantly, the quality of links count towards this rating. Okay, so they're basically saying links matter. But we already knew that. They go on. Buying or selling links that pass PageRank is in violation of Google's webmaster guidelines and can negatively impact a site's ranking in search results. So this is pretty clear. Buying links is a no. And what's more, they threaten negatively impacting a site's search ranking. If there's anything that scares website owners, it's losing search ranking. You only have to look at the fear around duplicate content. We regularly get messages from website owners that have found they've got the same paragraph of text on 2 pages on their website, and oh my goodness, we want to make sure that we're not going to be de-indexed and sent to jail. So Google knows that by threatening a reduction in visibility, this makes people take notice. But Google's guidelines continue. Not all paid links violate our guidelines. Buying and selling links is a normal part of the economy of the web when done for advertising purposes and not for manipulation of search results. Basically, SEO. Specify that the links were purchased for advertising by doing one of the following actions: adding a rel nofollow or rel sponsored attribute, or redirecting the links to an intermediate page that is blocked from search engines for the robot.txt file. Okay, let's just discount the second option. So basically they're saying you can buy links if you use the rel sponsored or rel nofollow attribute. Basically, show us which links you've bought so that we can ignore them for the purposes of SEO. This is like saying, you can enter our bodybuilding contest if you take steroids, so long as you wear a hat that says, I take steroids, so that we can disqualify you. So that's the line on Google's website. What about from Google's human face of SEO, John Mueller? In a Webmaster Office Hours video from June 2021, someone asks John a very, very sensible question. Basically, we want to get our website ranked. We know that we need to build links. How do we do it? And it sounds like they're interested in paid link building. Now, John gives some advice on paid link building. He says, for example, if we recognize that a site is regularly selling links, then we often go in and say, okay, we will ignore all links on this website. Now, 2 key phrases here. If we recognize and we often go in. Both of them have caveats. Now, I would counter this and I would say that some of the world's highest authority websites sell links, and yet not all of their links are being ignored. So either Google has trouble recognizing when a site is regularly selling paid links, or we often go in and ignore all the links from that website, means there are plenty of sites out there selling lots of links. Google knows about the fact that they're selling links and their links are not being ignored. That is consideration number one. And by the way, at this point, you might be feeling more confused than ever. Don't worry, we have to examine the evidence before we come to a conclusion. Stick with me. The next question I want to ask is, will paid link building ever actually die? Because we might make a different decision if something is going to last forever than if something is going to be uncovered and found out soon. This is an important question. But before we answer it, if you want help with your website's digital marketing, including your SEO, then you can request a free website and marketing review from the team here at Exposure Ninja. We'll just ask you 3 questions about your business, your digital marketing, and your goals. One of our team will then analyze your current digital marketing, your rankings, your link profile. We'll also have a look at PPC, conversion rate optimization, and social media. We will make all of our recommendations in a 15-minute video, which we'll send to you about how to achieve your marketing goals over the next 6 to 12 months. This service, unbelievably, is completely free of charge. So go to exposureninja.com and click the big button to request your free website and digital marketing review today. Okay, will paid link building ever actually die? Now, I think in order to answer this question, you have to look at a few things. Thing number one, some links are incredibly difficult to build naturally, okay? Let's say that you run an e-commerce store and you sell luxury fashion and you have a page on your store with Burberry bags, all right? This is your product category page. You've got a bit of text on there like every other e-commerce store selling Burberry bags does, and then you've got a list of products. Let's say that you want to rank that product category page against a whole bunch of other sites with Burberry bags, e-commerce category pages. How are you going to do it? Now, of course, the amount of content on the page is important, the authority of the site as a whole is important, but at some point, you're going to want to drive links to that category page. So, how do you do this? This is an example of a link that is very difficult to build because what is going to incentivize a high authority website to link through to an e-commerce product category page? Yes, you could run a promotion with influencers, but that's often going to be paid. Yes, you could do what Google often suggests. You could write a piece of content about different trends with Burberry bags or how to style your Burberry bags, whatever. But that's going to be an informational guide. That's not going to rank for a commercial term like Burberry bags. So yes, you could build some links to that other piece of content and then you could link that piece of content back to your category page. But what if you actually need to build links to that category page? Sometimes you will be reviewing very high authority national news, national magazine type sites, and you will see links through to e-commerce product category pages. How did they get there? How did the publications choose that specific category page on that specific site to link to? I don't know. Is there a chance that link was paid? Yes, there is a chance that link was paid. Thing number 2, ultra high authority links. Now, it's possible to get very, very high authority links naturally. We do it all the time with clients. We'll build a survey or we'll build a guide or something, and we'll get really good quality links by doing outreach to journalists. We'll do help a reporter out stuff. We'll do inbound journal requests and that type of thing. And we get links on very top tier publications without any money changing hands at all. That's great. But when you do that, you have very little control over the page that link is targeting. You essentially have absolutely no bargaining power with the publication whatsoever. So you cannot be specific about what that link does or how it works. So when you see exact match anchor text links going to highly commercial pages on a very prominent website, and you think, how did they get that link? Is there a chance it was paid? There is a chance it was paid. The final thing to consider in this question of will paid link building ever die is, will Google ever be able to actually detect paid links? And here's where we need to go back to this rel sponsored attribute. So back in the day when Google started really clamping down on this idea of high tier publications selling links, They issued some warnings that were basically, if we catch you doing this, we might ignore all the links on your website, we might demote your site. Some media properties panicked at this because their entire business is organic traffic. They could not afford to lose their visibility. This would mean an end of their business. So in a way of being very, very over careful, they marked all outbound links from their website as no follow, meaning these links should not pass any page rank. Now for Google, this wasn't particularly useful because having every single link marked no follow means that they can't really tell what type of link that is. So they brought out a new attribute called rel sponsored, and their guideline is if you've paid for the link, include the rel sponsored attribute. Now for many in the SEO world, they don't really understand what this attribute actually does, and there is some speculation that really the only thing it does is educate Google's machine learning algorithms to identify what the commonalities are between all of these rel sponsored links so that it could go out and guess which other links might also have been sponsored. But what if you don't use one of these attributes? Can Google actually tell the relationship between the publisher and the website that's being linked? Well, John says in the same webmaster video, but where you're kind of actively creating content that you know will attract links and then going out and reaching out to other sites and saying, hey, we have this interesting content, don't you want to take a look at it? And kind of encouraging them to link to your site, but without this kind of exchange of value, exchange of money, all of that. So what he's saying is that it's okay to reach out to journalists to ask them to include a link to your website, but where there's an exchange of value, specifically an exchange of money, that's where the line is crossed. Now on the surface, that seems pretty clear cut, but where things get muddier is what happens if, as some SEOs suggest, you pay a journalist for consulting and they happen to give you links? What happens if you send your favorite journalist an iPad and they happen to give you links? What happens if you pull a family favor with someone you know and that journalist happens to give you links? Defining exchange of value or even exchange of money. If it's exchange of money, that's bad, but if it's exchange of gifts, that's not bad. How do you define this? So potentially we end up in a really weird situation where Google is trying to decide what is fair and what isn't. How can Google possibly arbitrate this, let alone build this into an algorithm and detect the relationship between every publisher and every website that's being linked to? So the question that we're answering is, will paid links ever die? Well, in my opinion, it's unlikely. As long as links hold value for SEO and probably for some time after, people will be buying and selling links, and Google will find it almost impossible to accurately detect what is a paid link and what isn't. Did you know in our last video, 100% of the viewers who watched in the first 3 days were not subscribed to our YouTube channel? This is mad because we release normally 3 videos per week, and those people who are not subscribed, they are living on the edge because we release 3 videos a week and they are in danger of missing at least one of those videos. So if you're watching this and you're not subscribed to our channel, please click the subscribe button and the little bell notification to be notified when we post a new one. So, should you buy backlinks? Well, we've looked through Google's take. We've also looked at the kind of reality of the internet today. Now, in my opinion, there's absolutely no way you should buy the sort of low quality spammy links that you see advertised on cheap websites. If it's very easy to buy a link, then it's safe to assume it holds absolutely no value whatsoever. But for high authority sites, this is where you have to make the decision. This is a little bit like a bodybuilder choosing to take steroids or an influencer choosing to Photoshop their pictures before they upload them to Instagram. A lot of this depends on your personal comfort level. For some businesses, any potential risk, even if it's minuscule, of something like Google leveling a penalty or even just ignoring the links that are pointing at the site, the risk is so scary that they don't even want to cross that line. Meanwhile, there are people that feel a kind of magnetic pull to the dark side in any situation. They will always choose to play dirty. So we have these two extremes, and then most people sit somewhere in the middle. And this is ultimately a choice that you have to make. A lot of prominent SEO figures say you should never buy a link. What? We'd never buy links. Meanwhile, they're shoveling so much cash into publishers' pockets for their clients. that it would make your head spin. So don't always believe everything that you see. I get it that it can be frustrating seeing your competitors win, seeing them get links which you think, how on earth are they getting that sort of link? And yes, maybe they're paying for them, but ultimately it is absolutely your choice about whether or not you pay for links. You can win online with paying for links. You can win online without paying for links. If you choose not to, you will have to work harder. Your content will have to be better. You will have to play a bigger game. You will spend more money on content and the time used to promote that content than if you're buying links. But then if you're buying links, you're spending money on the links. So which way is the best? Ultimately, it's your choice. So if you were hoping for a clear-cut answer, should you buy links? Yes. Or should you buy links? No. Then I'm sorry to disappoint you, but this is a little bit like therapy. I'm not here to give you the answer. I'm just here to help you make the right realizations and find your answer. If you want to read a bit more on this topic, we have a blog post which is linked in the description. And if you want to read even more about everything link building and SEO, then we share all of our processes in our best-selling book, How to Get to the Top of Google. You can get a free copy in the description, or you can head over to Amazon. Did I mention subscribe if you haven't already? Of course I did. But if you haven't already, then watch out, or we'll buy some links and point them at your site to get you de-indexed. We would never do that. Until next time, see you soon.